In the living vastness of the Pantanal, the day dawned heavy, as if nature itself knew that something terrible was about to happen. Maria Marruá walked restlessly along the riverbank, her heart tight, unaware that she was about to face the greatest pain of her life. Gil, her husband, had received a visit from a strange man, a fellow who claimed to own the land where they lived. His gaze inspired no trust. Suspicious, Gil confided to his old friend Chico, "I don't trust that man. To me, he's a fraud trying to take what is rightfully ours." Chico, staring firmly at the stranger, replied, "I think so too, Gil. There's something very wrong with this story." Even so, the two decided to inform Father Antonio that they would not accept the man's proposal. But little did they know that this decision would forever change the fate of the Marruá family. By late afternoon, as the wind dragged dry leaves along the road, Gil received news that made the ground vanish beneath his feet. Raimundo, his loyal friend, had been attacked. He and Chico ran to the spot, but they were not prepared for what they would find. Maria Marruá was kneeling on the ground in utter despair. Their son was dead. The pain of that mother spread through the forest, echoing like a lament that the Pantanal itself seemed to absorb. Gil felt his world collapse, and when he discovered that the attack had been provoked by the man who claimed to own the land, rage consumed his chest. Overcome by uncontrollable fury, Gil confronted the criminal. Words turned into shouts, shouts into blows, and in the end, the blood of vengeance stained the soil. Meanwhile, far away, Leoncio prepared to set out with his entourage. Juventina watched him, torn between apprehension and longing. "Will you stay?" she asked. "Yes, Grandma asked me to take care of some things. Go in peace and be careful," answered Zé, mounted on his horse. And she left. During the journey, Leoncio grew closer to Philo, and the young woman, innocent and affectionate, silently fell in love with the cowboy. But when Zé returned to the ranch, his heart froze. Juventina had vanished. He searched every corner, every trail, until he found something that frightened him even more. Her belongings abandoned by a fence, as if she had been torn away from there. At that same time, devastated by the loss of their son, Gil and Maria Marruá decided to abandon the land they loved so dearly. They boarded a small boat and left it behind, carrying only pain, silence, and the hope of a less cruel future. Gil eventually settled on José Leoncio's land, trying to start over, but fate did not intend to leave him in peace. A few months later, Zé Leoncio received word that the Marruá lands had been invaded. Worried, he decided to go to the couple's cabin. When he arrived, he was met with suspicious looks and harsh words. Pain still lived there, fear too. And between Zé Leoncio and the Marruá couple, a tension began to form that could explode at any moment. The afternoon fell heavy over the Pantanal as Zé Leoncio reached the Marruá cabin. The air was dense, as if every tree were watching the encounter about to unfold. As soon as he set foot on the porch, the door burst open violently. Gil appeared, eyes blazing, chest heaving, like a wounded animal defending the last piece of ground he had left. "What are you doing here?" he shouted, advancing. Zé barely had time to speak. Gil lunged at him as if unleashing years of accumulated pain. It was Maria who stepped between them, pushing her husband back with all the strength that despair grants. "Gil, for God's sake," she pleaded, "don't do this." Gil was breathing heavily, his hands still trembling over the waist where he kept his holster. Maria tried to bring him back to reason. Zé, catching his breath, asked the only question he could form. Who are you? And what are you doing here? These lands have an owner." Gil spat out the answer. "When we got here, there was no one. And you can get out of here before I leave you looking like a sieve." Maria rushed to intervene, her eyes full of guilt and shame. "Sir, forgive us. My husband is nervous. We've been through a lot. But who are you?" Zé adjusted his hat, took a deep breath, and said firmly, "I'm the owner of these lands. I was born and raised here, and I see you've already settled into my cabin." Silence fell like a punch. Maria Marruá lowered her head. "It's true, sir. I beg your pardon. We came from Pantanal. We were deceived, and they killed our son. We only wanted a place to live in peace. We don't want trouble." The pain in her voice made Zé Leoncio's chest heavy. He stayed silent for a few moments, analyzing that couple broken by fate. Finally, he replied, "It's all right. Yeah, you can stay. The land is good. You can plant. I won't drive you out now." Maria thanked him with tearful eyes. Gil, still suspicious, only agreed with a hard nod. That night, Zé returned home with a restless spirit, and as soon as he arrived, he was met by Maria Marruá, furious with her husband. "Man, are you crazy? Pulling a gun on the landowner? Have you lost your mind? Gil rubbed his face, exhausted. You're right, Maria. But I don't trust anyone in this world anymore. Night fell over the cabin with a thick silence, and within it arose the conflict Maria feared most. Gil approached her, trying to embrace her, trying to find comfort in the only place that still felt his, but Maria recoiled, terrified. No, Gil. No. I don't ever want to get pregnant again. Another pregnancy would be a curse for me. Her husband froze, not knowing what to say. Her pain was there, open, pulsating. Elsewhere on the farm, Tian watched Philo's son with eyes full of suspicion. One day, irritated, he decided to confront her. Listen here, Philo. Who's the father of that boy, huh? Philo, firm like a rock the river cannot move, replied, That's none of your business, Tian. Mind your work. My life is mine to care for. But Tian wasn't convinced, and he muttered to himself, That boy looks too much like the boss. When Philo taught the boy to bring coffee to Zé Leoncio, Tian only confirmed his suspicions. But the rancher didn't even notice the foreman's sideways remark. Zé had another concern. He had sold a herd to some people in Rio de Janeiro and needed to go personally to collect the payment. Upon arriving in Rio, Zé received the money, a considerable sum. He called a taxi and set off. But the driver, eyeing the bundle he carried, tried to pull a trick. Don't you want to take a longer ride? He asked with a sly voice. Zé realized immediately. And before the crook could try anything, he intimidated him quickly and decisively. The driver gave up at once. Breathing in relief, Zé left the car and, still shaken, walked to the agreed place. And it was there, in that instant, that destiny showed its strength. Zé Leoncio met Madeleine. Their eyes crossed as if each had been waiting for the other their whole life. It was love at first sight, an overwhelming feeling that would seize both their hearts and forever change the course of their stories. The sun was already beginning to set when Maria Marruá and Gil, finally settled in the heart of the Pantanal, decided to rest a little. After days of tension, loss, and change, the couple believed they could, for a moment, breathe in peace. Gil, look at this, said Maria, admiring the crystal-clear water of the pond. These lands, this water, this is God's work. Gil smiled, lighter than he had been in a long time. Then let's go, woman. Let's enjoy it and take this bath right now. They had barely entered the water when a deep sound cut through the silence, a strong, wild roar that made Maria freeze from head to toe. Gil, did you hear that? She asked, her voice trembling. Gil listened for a few seconds and replied, I heard it, yes. It's a jaguar. A fierce jaguar. Maria immediately stepped back. Let's go, Gil. For God's sake, let's go back home. But Gil, stubborn and wanting to protect his wife, ran toward the sound, weapon in hand. When he got closer, he saw only a jaguar cub. It's just a cub, Maria. There's no danger, he shouted, trying to calm her. But Maria froze as she noticed something in the brush, something Gil hadn't seen yet, a large, silent shadow, golden eyes shining in the middle of the vegetation. Gil, behind you, man, she screamed. Gil turned and froze. A huge jaguar had appeared behind him, advancing with the majesty of a queen of the forest. He raised his weapon but realized he wouldn't have time. None at all. He closed his eyes and murmured, Go on. Finish me once and for all. Do what God didn't have the courage to do. But before the beast attacked, Maria appeared, with the weapon in her hands but not pointing it. She didn't tremble, didn't cry. She seemed connected. The jaguar stared at her, and Maria stared back, as if there were a silent dialogue between them. She sees me, Gil, Maria whispered. She spoke to me. Gil, motionless, couldn't believe what he was seeing. Maria approached the jaguar as if meeting something familiar, and inexplicably the animal backed away. No attack, no growl, no fear. The jaguar slowly retreated, disappearing into the forest as if called by something invisible. Gil, pale, could only say, Maria, what was that? But she had no answer either. Meanwhile, hundreds of kilometers away, Zé Leoncio arrived in Rio de Janeiro to receive payment for selling his cattle herd. But the big city had its own dangers. As soon as he got into the taxi, the driver noticed the volume of money Zé was carrying. The man tried to lure him into a suspicious route, asking too many questions, staring too much. Zé realized immediately. With speed and firmness, He disarmed the driver's intent, who gave up on the scam. Still nervous, Zay got out and walked into a small bar to catch his breath. Barely inside, life surprised him. Madeline, the young woman, tired of failed romances and surrounded by empty suitors, locked eyes with the cowboy. And there, in that exact second of encounter, something ignited. It was instant passion, something that burned strongly in both of them. But that flame did not go unnoticed. Gustavo, obsessively in love with Madeline, appeared furious upon seeing her talking to Zay. Without thinking, he tried to drag her away by force. Zé Leoncio didn't allow it. He went at Gustavo with the courage of a man who doesn't shy from a fight. The two nearly came to blows until Madeline, driven by impulse, grabbed Zay's arm and kissed him, right there, in front of Gustavo, in front of everyone. The ex-boyfriend stood frozen, shocked, humiliated, unable to react. And Zay, still surprised by the intensity of that kiss, realized life had just changed course again. The night in Rio de Janeiro seemed endless. After the overwhelming kiss in front of Gustavo, Madeline felt her heart racing as if she had awakened to life for the first time. Gustavo, however, did not react with dignity. Humiliated, abandoned, and consumed by fury, he left the bar like a shadow out of control. He was seen wandering the streets, muttering to himself, saying he would do something unimaginable. And that silent promise left a trail of worry wherever he went. Outside, under the flickering lights of the big city, Madeline pulled Zé Leoncio by the hand. You're different from all of them," she whispered. "I loved the way you defended me. I like a man like that, with attitude." Zay, with that firm manner of someone who speaks little but feels deeply, replied, "As long as I'm by your side, I won't let any of those men lay a finger on you." And she smiled, a smile Zé Leoncio would never forget. Across town, Mariana was already restless. She paced back and forth, muttering, staring at the clock. "Antero, our daughter is taking too long. Oh my God, this isn't normal. I'm truly worried this time." She was right. Madeline would not return that night. The young woman and the rancher spent hours talking, laughing, touching each other gently, until, carried away by a passion that struck like lightning, they went together to a hotel. There, they surrendered completely to one another, as if the world had stopped. Madeline fell asleep in Zé Leoncio's arms, unaware of the weight the past carried, a secret capable of shaking her future forever. Meanwhile, far away in the Pantanal, Philo sighed endlessly. "Tião, Zé Leoncio is taking too long. He should have been back already," she said, distressed. Tião smiled, teasing. "Ah, Philo, you really are in love. Go for it, woman. I tell you, that man wants you too." Philo, blushing, looked away, but the words echoed inside her. Back in Rio, Madeline woke with a firm decision. "Today you're going to meet my family," she said, adjusting her dress in front of the mirror. No matter what. Zé Leoncio simply agreed with a determined nod. When they arrived at the house, Mariana nearly fainted upon seeing her daughter enter with that rustic man, simple, worn hat and firm posture. "My daughter, where have you been?" "I was desperate," the mother scolded, unable to hide her nerves. "Calm down, mother. I'm fine. And I brought someone for you to meet." Mariana looked Zay up and down with a mix of disdain and disbelief. That ignited the cowboy's blood. He stepped forward, took off his hat, and spoke bluntly. "Ma'am, I'm not a man to waste time, so I'll say right away why I came. I came to ask for your daughter's hand in marriage." Mariana froze, horrified. "Never!" she shouted. But before she could continue, Madeline held Zay's hand and declared, "I accept." It was like a slap to her mother's pride. And the tension exploded when seconds later, Mariana revealed a secret that could ruin everything. A secret Madeline never imagined she would hear. A secret capable of destroying the romance before it even began. In the Pantanal, meanwhile, Gil paced back and forth inside the cabin, furious. His head boiled. Maria hadn't wanted to lie with him since the tragedy with their son, and the pain mixed with rejection. "Ah, but this I won't accept anymore," he muttered, distraught. "Either this woman gives me what I want, or I'll leave for good." Gil was about to make the most reckless decision of his life, a decision that could forever separate the Marruá couple or unleash something far worse.